Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear students of grade 10. Hello everybody. Wish you are all okay. Mr. Aymen and Mr. Muhannad want to convey a message. Be ready for the final exams and do your best. And let's start a new unit. Get the message. And remember your messenger and your prophet, peace be upon him. High thinkers, who can do it? Who can tell me how can we really support and show our love and support and respect to our prophet, peace be upon him? So we should obey to his orders, to behave as he behaved, to have his morals and decency, and to think positively, to listen, to think, to not anticipate bad things, and the most important, to be strong. And this is part of our values as Muslims, and this is part of our identity as Qatari and as Arabs. And if we think higher in a different way, we can think of what we call the perfectness or al-ihsan, to show our love to our prophet. We can also think to boycott and invite Muslims to do so, to stop, ban from those who misbehaved with our prophet, peace be upon him. We can think as well to follow our prophet and obey to his do's and no's, and to read about him and encourage people to do so. But if you ask me, I will direct you to the first verse, to the first ayah revealed to our prophet. Just learn and read. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. And now let's have a look at these pictures. The second one, try to think of these pictures. Do they say the same thing? Is it the same message? Oh, there is a policeman, and here road signs. What about these flags? I think they represent some countries. Oh no, it's an alphabet. Another alphabet. And another alphabet. So how many languages are there? And how can we send messages? How can we say and express ourselves? What about spies and the Morse code? Oh, this is a smart way to say different things. Oh, ciphered messages? I'm not a spy, but have a look. What can you tell me about these? And about these? What comes to your minds, to your great minds? Yes, there are many ways to say what we want to say and to express ourselves and to send messages. And as we are talking about maths, be strong and learn maths to show your love to your country and to your religion. And don't forget to learn languages. And here I can challenge you with some questions. How people communicate and express themselves? What are the similarities and differences between human languages and other languages, and between spoken languages and other types of language. How do we send messages? Is it the same as in the past? What are the differences? And can you think of future channels of communications? Try to find answers to all these questions and try to send me your answers. And before starting today's lesson, I want you to remind the tips and the advice I gave to you about how to listen. These can also help in reading tasks. And now I think we can introduce our objectives for today. But don't forget, be strong, learn languages. This will show your love to your country, and this is a way to show you are a Muslim. If you follow this saying, من تعلم لغة قوم أمن مكرهم أو شرهم وأضيف ونال خيرهم. But pay attention, this is not a hadith. This is not your prophet's speech. هذا ليس بحديث. Our objectives for today are the following. First, we aim to read for general and specific information about Muslim languages. We want to guess where the text can be found and answer true and false questions. We want also to guess and find the meanings of highlighted words and match them with their appropriate equivalents or definitions. And by the end, we hope to find the meaning or meanings of collocation and complete the gaps with the correct form of say and tell to form the appropriate collocations. Are you ready? Yes, but you want to learn about some reading strategies to make the task easier? Welcome. This is a useful website, Read Naturally, which can help you in the reading comprehension tasks. And here are some strategies to help you. You can think to use prior knowledge, or what we call previewing. Here you invite to what you already know and related to the topic. Another strategy is predicting. So here you can guess, you can anticipate what comes next. Another strategy is to identify the main idea and to summarize it or them next. Questioning and asking questions also help to understand a given text and to answer its questions. Making inferences, and here you should go deeper and use what you already know and what you read, but you should think deeper and higher. Visualizing or imaging can also help. We can also think of maps about the setting, the characters, the plot, the theme, etc. And you can think to retell the story. Enough for the moment. And now I want to ensure you understood what we have just learned. Ready? Let's play. So, which one matches with to say the story in your own word? To retell? Sure. What about to draw story maps, if you can? We are talking about mapping. and making maps or diagrams. When we talk about asking and answering questions, here we are talking about questioning and asking. What's this? And we talk about visualize when we want to make images, pictures, or even scenes. And if you want to determine what is important, put it in your own words. We are talking about predicting, inferring, or identifying and summarizing the main idea. We'll see. We use our prior knowledge when we tap into what we know, and if we are talking about the fact that we want to guess, anticipate what is and what will come next, here we are talking about prediction. And if we use what we know and what we read to logically and rationally know what is next, we are talking about inferring and deduction. These were your answers. Let's just verify. You are geniuses. And now to your student's book, page 60 and 61. A reading task. Someone please to read the instruction. Read the text quickly. Where would you find this text? A. Encyclopedia. B. Blog. C. Magazine. D. A travel guide. Have your book opened in page 60? Focus on the text with languages. You'll listen to the speech. Try to follow at the same time. Ready?
Module 5. Get the message. 5A. Reading.
Whistled languages. There are more than 6,500 different languages in the world, which all have one thing in common. We use our voices to speak them. What many people are not aware of, however, is that there are some languages that do not require speech at all. Sign language, which uses hand gestures to communicate, is the most well-known of these. Less familiar are some other systems of communication found in small communities across the globe, whose origins still remain somewhat of a mystery. On the Spanish island of La Gomera, off the coast of Africa, there is an unusual language that has been around since before the 15th century. As well as talking, people there whistle to communicate. The local landscape, which is hilly and mountainous and covered in mist, may explain why this whistling became so widely used. The sound created by whistling travels much further than the human voice, so it's an effective way to communicate quickly across valleys or long distances. Also, locals find that it can sometimes be convenient to be able to communicate in a secret way that outsiders cannot understand. Whistled communities are also found in parts of Greece, Mexico, Turkey, and France. In Turkey, there is a village where it's difficult to tell the difference between humans talking and birds tweeting. At least most foreigners would say so. It's called Kuskoy, which means village of the birds. Here, like on La Gomera, whistling was used for communicating across mountainous regions and long distances, when telephones and other methods were not available. Even today, when phones are more commonplace, there are people from older generations who still prefer to whistle. They find it much simpler and, of course, it does not cost anything. Education in the fine art of whistling begins at an early age, with the older generations passing down their skills to the young. It's not easy, of course. In Cuscoy, for example, there are 29 separate whistled noises, one for each letter of the Turkish alphabet. However, it's pretty much like learning to talk. Practice makes perfect, and local children pick it up in the end. On La Gomera, residents who want to protect their tradition have gone a step further and made learning whistling compulsory in schools. Unfortunately, though, they complain that the everyday use of whistling is becoming rarer as modern technology takes over and younger generations move to towns and cities. We will have to wait and see if efforts by locals to protect their unusual culture can survive the many changes of the modern world.
So, where do you think we can find such a text? Exactly in a magazine, maybe in a website. And as we finish it with the first task, let's simply do the second. Someone to read the instruction? Read the text again and answer the questions. Write T for true and F for false. Someone please to read the statements. 1. Sign language is the only language in the world that does not require speech. 2. Whistled languages can be used to communicate over greater distances than spoken languages. 3. In Cuscoy, people used to send messages to one another using birds. 4. In Cuscoy, only old people now understand the whistled language. And the final statement is about children on La Gomera who must learn how to whistle at school. Remember, we want to know if these statements are true or false. Go back to the text and find the answers. You can of course pause the video. You quickly came back. So, is the first statement true or false? And don't forget, you need to justify your answer. Yes, it's false. Your justification? Yes. Read it. Less familiar are some other systems of communication found in small communities across the globe whose origins still remain. Great. So there are others. Number 2 is true, and the justification is yes. The sound created by whistling travels much further than the human voice. Excellent. To the third statement, which is false. And the justification is, in Turkey there is a village where it is difficult to tell the difference between humans talking and birds tweeting. At least most foreigners would say so. It's called Kiskoy, which means village of the birds. Here, like on La Gomera, whistling is used. And on to the fourth statement, which is true or false. We are talking about the fact that only old people can understand the whistled language. Where is the justification to deny this idea? Here it is. However, it's pretty much like learning to talk. Practice makes perfect. And learn this. Practice makes perfect. And local children pick it up in the end. And here we reached the last statement about children on La Gomera, and the statement is true. And here is the justification. So all La Gomera residents who want to protect their tradition have gone a step further and made learning whistling compulsory in schools. Here are all the answers. And to the next task, someone to read the instruction. Answer the following questions. Why do people use whistled languages? How do people in some communities try to protect this kind of language? And what is your opinion about it? You're back with your answers? Great. Let's listen to your friend.
People use whistled languages to communicate over long distances where the human voice cannot reach. Also, using whistled languages helps people communicate in a way that others will not understand. Finally, today people use whistled languages because it is part of their culture. Older generations teach younger generations how to whistle. In some places they teach whistling at schools. I think it's a very good idea that there are people who try to protect this kind of language because it is part of their culture.
This was your friend's answer. You can pause the video to read it again. And now to task D, someone to read the instruction. Look at the highlighted words or phrases in the text and match them with their meanings. Then check your answers in a dictionary. So what are the words? Sign language, effective, commonplace, separate, compulsory, and take over. Can you find them in the text? Here is the first. You can pause the video and read it again. And the second, the third, commonplace, the fourth, separate, the fifth, compulsory, and the last, takes over. Okay, now we want to match them with their meanings. Can you read the possible equivalents? Yes. 1 or A. A system of communication used by people who cannot hear. The B. Different. C. That must be done because of a law or a rule. D. To take control of something. E. Successful. Producing the result that is wanted. And the last one, F, is existent in many places. Pause the video please and don't let me wait for long. Yes, so sign language is a system of communication. Great, effective, is something which is successful. A commonplace here in the text means something which exists or exists in many places. 4, separate, is an equivalent of different here, and compulsory is something which should be done by force of law, and takes over means to take control of something. We will not use a dictionary, but we will play a game which is based on a dictionary. So, compulsory, something that must be done because of a law. Commonplace, existing in many places. We will see a sign language is a system of communication used by people who cannot hear. Different is an equivalent of separate, Effective is an equivalent of successful, and take over is to take control of something. Now we can check your answers. I trust you and I believe in you. Just to help students who find it difficult to follow the matching, you can take notes. So a sign language, separate, compulsory is with C. Number 6, take over is with D. Effective is with E. And compulsory is with F. And here we finish it with D. With all the reading related questions. And now to the second part of our lesson, vocabulary. Task A. Someone to read the instruction, please. Read the extracts from the text. What do the phrases in bold mean? It's difficult to tell the difference between human talking and birds tweeting. At least most foreigners would say so. So what do the phrases in bold, tell the difference, and say so mean? Any answers? Great! To tell the difference is to distinguish or recognize and find the difference between two things. To say so is to agree with. And to task B. Here we want to complete the sentences with the correct form of tell or say to form what we call collocations. We have seen that, and you can go back to the previous videos. Pause the video and try to do it. Is there anyone who finished all the tasks and completed all the gaps? Yes, the door is yours. You should say thank you to Amanda for buying you such a nice gift. Number 2, I was in the neighborhood, so I decided to stop by and say hello. Hessa would never tell a secret that she promised to keep. You can trust her. She's a reliable person. Tina told us a joke yesterday, but I don't remember it. Number 5, I can't believe that Frank didn't say sorry after he accidentally pushed me. How rude. Muhammad is going to buy his younger brother a watch now that he has learned to tell the time. Number 7, don't just sit there. Say something. 8, okay, children, let me tell you a story. 9, I asked my brother if I could borrow his car and he said yes. The last, I always know when Jack is telling lies and when he is telling the truth. Don't tell lies. Always say and tell the truth. Tell the truth. Here are all the answers from 1 to 10. Clearer. And here we reached the end. All the objectives were fulfilled, and don't forget, be honest and only tell the truth. Yes, tell the truth. Tell the truth. And remember the Prophet's hadith. عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إن الصدق يهدي إلى البر، وإن البر يهدي إلى الجنة، وإن الرجل ليصدق حتى يكتب عند الله صديقا، وإن الكذب يهدي إلى الفجور، وإن الفجور يهدي إلى النار، وإن الرجل ليكذب حتى يكتب عند الله كذابا. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. And here we reached the end of our lesson. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.